You're listening to the Post-Apocalyptic Media Podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to a very special July 1st episode of Post-Apocalyptic Media, the podcast. I'm your host Derek. I'm joined with Shawn.
Hey everyone.
And we've got Stephanie with us today.
Hello.
Well, we have several things to discuss with you today. It is a big news day, but it's also a kind of a shorter podcast day, I think. We'll find out at the end whether or not we actually ended up having a short podcast. But we are going to be covering the new Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. There is news about new video games that are coming out. Aftershock, the podcast. We're going to talk about another podcast. You may think that's foolish of us, but we don't follow the rules of conventional society here at Post-Apocalyptic Media. There's some UFO news that's come out. Since the last time we talked, the government released a big old 9-page report. Thousands of UFO sightings every year, and they got 9 pages to tell us. And I will tell you about what's in those 9 pages and also other disclosures that are happening. I'm keeping up with the UFO stuff. If there are aliens visiting us, I want to be the first to know. I want to be in that chat room asking Glorbazorb, questions about his homeworld.
Glorbazorb's Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to know. We need to know what life is like out there. So, the government has been hiding a lot of this stuff from us. We're going to talk about that. And there's Attack on Titan news. Huge news. So let's not dilly-dally. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's talk about this. Okay, first of all, Handmaid's Tale is done. It's over. For now. We have, is it renewed, Steph?
It is. It is renewed. Stephanie
is a world-renowned Handmaid's Tale journalist. So You heard it here first, possibly, if you didn't Google it already. Okay, so there's a lot to say about that. At the end of the show, if we're still feeling like it, we're going to unload some Handmaid's Tale stuff. But I will let you go. I will usher everyone out the door who does not want to hear the Handmaid's Tale spoilers if we in fact do that. So just teasing that. October. We are in July right now, so it's not that far away. Let me tell you what's going on in October. First of all, you got Dune. Dune's coming out. It looks epic.
Woohoo!
It looks incredible. That's a big one. You got plenty of time to read Dune before it comes out. That's like 2 months. Come on, people. You've got an Invasion. That's going to be on Apple TV. Apple's streaming service. Is it? It's not Apple TV. Apple TV is the hardware.
Plus.
Apple TV Plus, yeah.
Apple TV Plus. Mm-hmm. That's not confusing at all.
It gets confusing because so many of the streaming services have plus or different things tacked onto the end. I can't keep up.
Yeah, that is confusing. I think that still Xbox holds like the most confusing tech thing right now because you can go buy an Xbox One X, which is previous gen, or you can get the Xbox Series X, which is the newest one.
Oh. Wow.
And then you can get the Series S, which, by the way, it sounds that S and X are very close phonetically.
Yeah.
Why would you differentiate your products S and X? That's so stupid. But Xbox has now done it for 2 generations in a row. So forget that. Don't ask your grandpa to buy you a new Xbox because he will buy you the old one thinking it's the new one. And it's not his fault because it does sound the same. All right. Invasion.
It's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah. No, they're unloading that stock on purpose. They're like, we got too many 1Xs.
No returns.
We need to name the new product something. That's really dumb, but maybe It's a weird conspiracy theory, I know. Invasion on Apple TV. That is, it looks really good from what I've seen so far. Didn't we watch a little preview?
We watched a trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, we watched a trailer the other day. It's like I'm excited about the entire trailer except like the last 2 seconds.
Because
in the trailer, they you know what I'm talking about when they show this what appear to be the legs of a giant alien. I don't know why that part made it less appealing to me. It's like, I hope this isn't like King Kong or.
Oh yeah.
I like the scale thing. Like so many alien stuff where they're always like our size, but there's no natural like imperative that sentient creatures have to be our size.
No.
So I kind of like messing with that. Like I feel like they don't often enough go the other way where it's like microscopic aliens or like,
That's true.
here. But we do have like Pacific Rim. Even though the aliens themselves are our size, they have like pets that they're. By the way, I'm going to spoil Pacific Rim for everybody right here. But yeah, that's
hopefully everyone's watched it by now.
That's the plot of the first movie: is aliens opened a portal to Earth and started sending monsters at us, just I guess to decimate our world. Like what the heck? What the heck, aliens? We didn't open a portal to your world and send our bears or whatever we would send.
And I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on the name, but the other movie series, Cloverfield, another giant alien. That's the one I kind of, I don't know. I saw its legs and I was like, Cloverfield?
Starship Troopers kind of did a thing because they had so many different aliens invading and stuff, and as part of their hierarchy, you did have giant brain alien and different kinds of. They had a certain kind of alien that like launched projectiles into space, and I think in fact in the lore they had one that like launched a projectile from their planet to attack Earth, and like that was how powerful they were able. Anyways, nobody cares about obscure Starship Troopers news. Invasion and Dune. October, December.
Great month.
December is Matrix 4. So
what?
Yeah,
already?
So it's gonna be huge. I'm planning a rewatch of the whole 1 through 3 because, to be quite honest, 2 and 3 kind of blends together. They came out back to back, like 12 months between them, and that seems like a long time, but for some reason it wasn't. Maybe the story wasn't.
They were confusing, so they blended together. And of course, Matrix 1 was just so much better.
Matrix 1 was great. And was it better? Maybe.
Yes.
Like, I don't know.
I think you think 2 and 3 are better.
You
loved 2 and 3.
I like the concept of 2 and 3. And so, like, I guess I'm going to spoil Matrix because why not? It's been a decade, you guys. But. Like at the end of 3, you come to terms with the fact that the war is unwinnable, and all of the Matrix series was basically a pretend war. They were just like pretending to let the humans have any say in how things work. And then he gets to the end and it's like, yeah, we already beat you so badly. Like there's nothing actually that humanity can possibly do. We're just kind of letting you come as like a ambassador. Every once in a while we get a human ambassador to like make the case for why you shouldn't be our slaves. And that to me is a realistic approach to the robo apocalypse. The robots are just superior to us in so many ways. First of all, robots are not susceptible to poison gases. We are, very much so. They don't miss. Like a real robot, like right now, we have the technology to like. There's a gun you can buy, by the way, and this gun will allow you to mark a target. And then what it does is, it never misses because it won't shoot until you have the perfect shot on that target. and then it'll shoot. You just basically hold down the trigger and you move the gun around until it's the perfect shot, and then it goes off itself, and it's the perfect shot. You can shoot a moving target, a running target. It doesn't matter. That's a real technology that's been available for a decade now. So so a real like Terminator, they'd shoot 26 bullets and every single one of them would hit a new target. That's how it would work. And so I like that the Matrix goes in that direction and says it is hope. You have to convince the machines. You can't beat them in a fight. You have to like win them over. I dig that. So anyways, Matrix 4 in December. How will the story end? How will it continue? I have no clue. But I'm on the ride with what's his name? Keanu
Reeves. Yes, I'm excited too. That's gonna be good. I am excited. Wow. Do you know, are they releasing it on a streaming service and in the theaters, or just in the theaters? Yeah, I don't know either.
So Shawn, what's your topic this week?
My topic is Black Summer Season 2.
Yes.
Nice.
Season 1, I wrote a little review of it, and that was 2 years ago. It was 2019,
so
2 years
long.
ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
And that's crazy. But I wrote a review about it, and I went back and read it, actually, when I was about halfway through this season, for Season 2. And the Season 1 review was pretty much on par of how I felt about Season 2. It started out really, really strong, and then it kind of teetered away, halfway through. But the thing is, I don't think I was as happy with Season 1 as I am with Season 2. I think Season 2
Really?
ended really strongly. But did you guys watch it at all?
We've seen the first episode so far, and we did not watch the finale, like, to kind of refresh our memory. So we were both totally lost.
Yeah.
And I think there's a time jump or something.
Well, I think I was like the same way, where I was like, I need to go back and watch the last part of Season 1 because it's been so long. I know that they brought some of the characters back. They had Rose and Sun and Spears, and then of course Rose's daughter Anna. They're back in Season 2, and I remember them, but there was a few, like, I barely remembered Spears, like if he was a good guy or bad guy, I guess. And and then it was like, where's Rose at? Where is she? Crazy yet? Or because she had to find her daughter in Season 1, and then she found her, of course, because that's Anna. So you need like a refresher, I think. And so I did the same thing, where I just watched that last episode of Season 1, and it made total sense. But they did the same format, where they started out just in your face action, just all the time with episode 1 of Season 2. And then they started breaking it up, doing flashbacks. They have different groups here and there, and then it would have, you would have a section where they name each section, like they'll name a part of that episode something, and then it'll play that story from like that little group of people. So there will be times when you're watching that and these people are zombies, and then it'll go back in a future episode and those people aren't zombies yet. So you're like, whoa. So what they're doing is they're flashing back and forth, and it takes a lot of, you can't like, look at your phone while you're watching this show. That's a problem I always have. I'll be looking at my phone, and then I'll look up and go,
Right.
wait, what just happened? and this is one that you definitely have to sit down and just concentrate on watching. And I learned that after the first couple episodes. But yeah, I would say the first probably 4 episodes were just nonstop action, incredible action. I mean, I think it was better than, Walking Dead, any other zombie type show that I've seen. Just really incredible. But then right around episode 5 or so, it started getting, they started doing backstories and like episodes where they're just talking, and you're just, it's kind of, it got a little boring. They were trying to lay down a little bit of the backstory, but then once they got back to the action, it was like, okay, cool. Like that last episode, I think the finale was really, really good. I don't think I'm giving any spoilers by saying that basically they're trying to find, there's this mysterious plane in the first episode.
Okay,
and
I remember
the
that.
plane, the plane flies by and everyone just stops and looks at it. And nobody's fighting. Like people are in the middle of fighting and they just stop and look at this plane. And you're like, what? But then you find out why later. And the whole season is pretty much about this plane, about trying to find this plane and all that stuff. So instead of trying to find Rose's daughter, now you're trying to find the plane. So it's not a deep story, it's not like it's not deep at all. It's very much action centered, which I think they do great. I really think that if I were to kind of grade it, overall, I would give it probably a B. And that's that's an A+ in action, and then, like a C or D in story, because the story was, you could guess. There's no surprises.
Interesting.
Yeah, but the action was incredible. I really liked it. I liked it. It was very fast-paced and just all over the place. People running from zombies here, and then they get, and it's not, I feel like I can't even explain it because it doesn't do it justice.
I had forgotten how scary those zombies were, compared to what they encounter in Walking Dead and every other zombie show. Like, I forgot how powerful and strong they were.
Yeah. And they're just crazy. Like, they scream and they run and they jump up and they grab you. And there are a couple scenes where people jump up in trees, or they jump up on something, try to get away, and the zombies will jump up and grab their legs, and it's like,
crazy.
Yeah, and it's what I like too is, okay, I keep comparing it to Walking Dead, which isn't fair, but in Walking Dead, you have the Rick Grimes headshot special, where he shoots 10 of them headshot every time, right? In this show, they don't do that. They're sitting there, they have machine guns, and they're shooting at these zombies that are running towards them, and they're not getting any headshots, and then they just turn and run, and and it's really, really, I think it's more realistic. Most people aren't going to be trained, for headshots.
Yep.
When they pick up a gun for the first time, and so I really like that part of it. You see them just shooting wildly, and you're like, just shoot them in the head, but they're not going to do that, immediately.
I would miss.
So.
Yeah, every character in Walking Dead these days is just a headshot specialist.
Yeah.
They never
so
miss.
Yeah.
It's that is disconcerting. I don't like that. I love the zombies in this. Of course, I watched Z Nation all the way through. In the first episode of Z Nation, somebody approaches some dead zombies. Like dead zombies. They're like laying on the ground. Well, they weren't dead. They were just a trap. So they like wait until you're close, and then they jump up and run at you. So I really like the concept of these somewhat cognizant zombies that are a lot more intimidating. Man, in Walking Dead, like I really like, and in fact, the first episode of Black Summer season 2, they have this what I feel like is a stark contrast to other zombie, where this guy he's like trying to fill up a gas tank with some gas he found, and there's a zombie like sprinting at him, like in the purview, and he knows it. He's just like, he's trying to get away, but he needs the car. And so like, I just thought about how this would play out in Walking Dead. In The Walking Dead, you wouldn't be freaked out. You'd be like, I have plenty of time to fill this. He's 20 feet over there. So, it's a lot more intense and interesting of a plot to me. Whereas, to be quite honest, like Walking Dead zombies, man, get you a good suit of armor, like a medieval suit of armor, and you're basically invincible. Yeah. And that's, in fact... Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, that's in fact, in medieval times, this is pretty much like, this is like historically how it'd work out, is that suit of armor helped you against almost every type of human that would attack you. And so you could conceivably, there's a lot going on there. In feudalism, not only do you have your armor and better weaponry than the peasants that you may be fighting, but also you're better fed. You have, your muscle tissue is more healthy. Like everything about you is better. And so like they could go and take on 100 to 1, of peasants, because it's just like, what are the peasants going to do? They got to get something through that little eye slit. And while they're trying to do that, you're swinging around your big, beautiful sword. So, that's like ancient wisdom that it seems like in a lot of these slow lumbering zombie shows nobody has figured out yet. But walls, moats, plate armor. It's all great against basically unarmed people.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you finished season 2. You give it a B.
Yeah.
By the way, just real quick on background on Black Summer, Z Nation was a show. It ran for I think 4 seasons, and it was pretty popular. I think it was by the same guy who made Sharknado. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh,
Gosh, I don't remember anymore.
But Z Nation was fun. It was a good show. Black Summer comes out, and it's in the same universe as Z Nation. It has a very different tone. Gosh, and yeah, the first episode of season 2 was so dark. Has some pretty gnarly murders, I would say, going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Z Nation is kind of considered a comedy almost. It's like a funny zombie show, and that's why I think it was hard for people to detach themselves once they announced, we're going to make another zombie show. It's going to be in the same universe, but it's not going to be. It's going to be darker, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to laugh at this one." It's like, no, it's going to be darker, and I think they probably they figured they had to go over the top with that to really show people that this isn't Z Nation exactly. But I think, the darkness of it, the action, the blood and gore. I mean, they did a phenomenal job with this show, I think, and I think season 2 is better.
Wow.
I said
great.
it.
Okay, so that is on Netflix. You can stream it right this instant. So what are you waiting for? Get into Black Summer. And by the way, having watched the original Z Nation, first of all, I haven't seen a single cameo from Z Nation yet. And I don't see any reason why you need to watch Z Nation at this point to get into Black Summer.
Yeah.
That's true. Good point.
Okay, so speaking of Netflix series, Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, not out yet. Check me on that, but I don't think it's out yet. But IGN did a review of that recently, so they got access. They gave it a top review. I think it was an 8 out of 10. So it may have been 7. It was 7 or 8. It was a good number for that. So it's animated, and so I was like, and then it's not like, it looks kind of like the 3D animation. I just have bad history with movies that tried to do that. There was a good Halo one, and that was about it for me. Like, there was a Final Fantasy one that was just awful, and I've seen other things, but this one's getting good reviews. I think IGN convinced me to watch it.
Ooh,
and I'm a Resident Evil fan of the show. I'm not a game fan of Resident Evil, I'm afraid. Although the newer games do look just amazing. I'm not a puzzle, go find the correct piece and bring it back kind of a player. But yeah, this series getting good reviews. It's coming out soon. Steph, could you let us know from the calendar when that's coming out?
Sure, let me look it up.
Halo Master Chief Collection is on Xbox Game Pass right now. It's always going to be, I think, because it's a Microsoft-owned IP, and they're putting everything they can on that. If you have an Xbox and you don't have Game Pass, you're probably throwing away money. Because, to buy one Xbox game right now, a AAA game, is like $60. That'll get you 3-4 months of Game Pass.
Even I have it, so there you go.
Even Shawn doesn't buy anything.
I'm a PC gamer at heart, and I have an Xbox Game Pass. So
you got the Ultimate, so you got the PC games in there. Nice.
Ultimate,
yeah. I've been playing Age of Empires on my Game Pass Ultimate through the PC. So with an Apple computer, I have to load in Parallels and then install Windows and do all that stuff. But it's nice. I can have both operating systems running on the exact same computer at the same time. So,
by the way, Resident Evil Infinite Darkness releases on July 8th on Netflix.
July 8th. Okay, cool. So 7 days from now.
Yeah.
From when we're recording this, it will probably be a little bit later when we have it edited and pushed to our podcast. But July 8th. One last word on the Master Chief Collection. I have friends who were playing it the other day. They were telling me that there's a new game mode in there where, custom games have been kind of a popular thing among the Halo enthusiasts for a long time. And they're like silly things like King of the Hill where you're like driving cars and trying to push people off a hill. And, or you're like driving your car and you're trying to land it inside of a tube and it's like a beer pong game. Stuff like that. It's a lot of fun with your friends, but it's sometimes hard to have enough friends to get something like that going. And so you were left with you could jump into Halo matchmaking and play straight up, objective games that everybody plays, capture the flag or deathmatch, something like that. Or you could find your friends and go play custom. Now you can jump into custom games instantly with strangers. And it's like, it's this weird game mechanic they were saying where the custom game just like keeps going. There's like a leader basically, and you just kind of jump into a game that has a leader, and the leader will continue to queue up new custom games for you until you just choose to leave. Wow. So apparently that's been real convenient for people to get into some really fun custom games if that's what you're into. Moving on, Shawn has a YouTube roundup he does every week. And I encourage you to check it out. If you're interested in the post-apocalyptic news, and I'm assuming you are because you're listening to this podcast, you might be interested in the most eclectic stuff, and that's what Shawn's gathering. He every time I open up one of his YouTube roundups, I find stuff I had no idea existed. Pretty much every time. It's amazing. And so that's a fun little jaunt. You don't have to watch all the YouTube videos. He gives you a good description of them. So you just go through and you pick out 1 or 2, maybe 5 that you really like and want to check out. And so anyways, great article, Shawn. I'm really enjoying that series. And this week, it really piqued my interest because there are a couple post-apocalyptic 4X games. And if you've never heard of a 4X game, you are not alone. Most people do not know that term. It's like, I can't even tell you what the 4X's are, but they're like build an economy and do diplomacy or something. Like there's 4 things, but do you know them, Shawn?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I think you're right. It includes that, yeah.
So like my first 4X game was a game called Masters of Orion that I played on like a 286 computer. And, you like colonize space and research technologies and build ships and like try to fight other aliens or make peace with them and stuff. These new post-apocalyptic games, they look like Civilization clones. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to put bad juju on these games because they are new post-apocalyptic IP, and I want to support that. Yeah. I just want to warn everybody before you watch the videos, if you've played the recent Civilization games, you're going to go, is this even a different like game engine? Because it looks like they just like put a gloss of paint over it. Yeah. But that could still be fun if it's like in the right context. So I'm looking forward to trying out these games. I think I'll probably play both of them. I just, every once in a while I get the itch for a 4X and I'll open one up and just play it until it's out of my system. So check those out. I don't have their names written down right now, but go ahead.
Well, one of them's called Revival Recolonization, and the other one is called Punk Wars. So,
all right,
watch for those.
Yeah, definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. We have a article series by Tina, our writer, who is also a post-apocalyptic novelist, and she writes she's writing this tournament called Carmageddon, and it's looking at all the cars, the most intimidating vehicles in post-apocalyptic movies and shows, and pitting them against each other. This week was a heavyweight bout with Mad Max on one side and Tallahassee from Zombieland on the other.
Wow.
So
it's pretty epic.
Pretty epic matchup.
Yeah.
It's bound to stir up some controversy because depending on how you feel about those two characters, you might feel like one of them should come out on top. I'll go ahead and say Mad Max wins.
Spoiler alert.
It is what it is. I think that it's a close matchup. I don't know if I'd have gone with Mad Max. I think I'm putting my money on Tallahassee, but I feel like I have a connection to Tallahassee. I see that guy and how he acts, and I'm like, I can relate to him. Mad Max is kind of crazy. He's a crazy person in a crazy world, so I don't relate as closely to his ethos. But he's a rough dude, and if you're talking about the newer Mad Max, like, I saw him fight people after he was drained of blood, so you know that guy's pretty tough too.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Although I think now that I think of it, it was specifically Mel Gibson's Mad Max in the setup for Carmageddon. Although when it comes to the lore, is that a differentiation that even matters anymore? Are they're supposed to be the same guy, right?
Yeah. There's actually a crazy timeline in there because some people argue about where Fury Road actually happens because of the fact that the car was completely destroyed at the end, during Road Warrior, the second movie. So it's like, well, this had to take place between the first and second movie. Like, it's almost like a insertion there. But then, and he's also younger too. Tom Hardy is younger than older Max in the third one in Thunderdome. So yeah, I mean it's there's this whole, you can get on Reddit threads and see all the arguments about it, but but yeah, it's in the same world and he's supposed to be the same guy. Okay.
All right. Huh. So no parallel universe kind of thing, same world. No. I just always jump to the parallel universe. I'm like, hey. Easy solution.
Yeah, that's always a good way to explain things.
All right, so we are about to get into the UFO government disclosure that happened recently, but before we get into that, I want to do a short detour and talk about Aftershock Podcast. Aftershock Podcast has Jeffrey Dean, right? Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan, yeah.
Okay. All right. What else do we know about it?
It actually has two people from The Walking Dead. It has Lori, Lori
really?
Grimes. Yeah. Her name is, what's her real name? Sarah Wayne Callie.
Yeah, she has a big following on Instagram.
Yeah, she actually wrote, directed, and stars in this podcast. Whoa. And so she got her buddy, Negan in there, and it also has the guy from Stranger Things. I forgot his name. David Harbour, that's his name.
Really?
The guy who plays the cop.
Deputy
guy. Yeah, the sheriff guy. But it's a scripted podcast, so it's not like our podcast where we just make stuff up as we go along.
Is it a story?
Yeah, it's a story that's been written. She wrote the whole thing, and then it's like professionally recorded and professionally acted and everything. They have real sound effects and all that stuff. And I listened. There's a trailer, and I actually put the trailer in. Yeah, I put the teaser in the post itself, but you can just listen to that. It's only 2 minutes, and it sounds incredible. It sounds like it's just a part of a movie or something. So they did a really good. It sounds like they did a really good job, and that will be coming out on July 14th.
Oh, really?
On iHeartRadio, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to want to listen to that because that's a really great lineup they have. Do we have that on our calendar yet?
Oh, no, we do not.
Okay, we need to add that.
All right.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
If you're listening at home right now, I want you to go and subscribe to our podcast. Subscribe to our podcast first, guys. We're Post-Apocalyptic Media, the podcast. Check that out. Like it. If you can. I don't know what apps let you do these days, but if you can, like it. Give us a review, please give us a review. We'd really like that. We have a Discord server. You can come chat with us and hang out throughout the week. I'm not in there constantly, but I do go in there and I check out what the messages are. So, if you @ me at Just Eric, you'll probably get a response. So that's our Discord server. We have a website, post-apocalyptic.com. I want you to all check that out. Bookmark it, maybe. Subscribe to our email list. We have an email list, and we inform people every week. We'll send to your email a list of that week's articles. So if you forget to go to the website, boom, it's in your email. Loving it. That's what everybody says about our email list. That's our number one comment. Okay, so UFOs. Okay, so basically, not too long ago, there was a report to Congress about unidentified flying objects. There has been news coverage on 60 Minutes. This is all stuff that, of course, sightings have been going on forever. You go back to the 1950s and there were sightings. If you talk to old people, some of them have stories of stuff they've seen, and for so long it was kind of written off as just this, maybe you were, hallucinating, maybe it was something else and you just misidentified it. If there were any evidence, if there were any truth of this, this would be a bigger deal and the media would be reporting on it and the government would be talking about it and all these things. And it was just kind of looked on as like, there's nothing to this. Well, recently it has been more or less confirmed at the top level, and I say more or less, I really shouldn't. It has been confirmed at the top level that there are sightings that are, one, legit sightings, and two, we can't explain them. Mm-hmm. And so this report to Congress basically said, look, we've been doing this for a while. Just in the past couple years, we've looked at 144 recent incidents using our modern technology and applying it to it. These are military encounters. So, they didn't even dip into the well of civilian encounters. They're like, we're just looking at the military encounters. We can tell you out of the 144, we have figured out one of them. Figured out one. Wow. It was a balloon. And they're like, the other 143.
Oh, that's right. I remember seeing that.
And so they're like, we have 4 categories that we place these in, and we've only used one because we've only identified one. And 5 categories, I should say. I'm getting ahead of myself. But this is interesting stuff because they're saying that they have sensor data, radar data. They're taking all of these technical indicators, which rules out the hallucination theory. It's not a hallucination if a computer is also verifying what you're seeing. So there is a lot of cases where, for instance, if you watch the 60 Minutes special, they focus in on the Nimitz carrier group that was that encountered an object flying around. They lots and lots of people saw it. They flew near it. It responded to them flying, and it zipped away. And it did things that they can't explain. But and in fact, a lot of these reports are kind of suppressed, not just because of government suppression and things like that, but also because people want to be respected and they don't want to be laughed at. And so there's this culture in the military where if you're that guy that, is always talking about that UFO or even talks about it at all, you're the crazy one. Mm-hmm. And so it has the effect of kind of suppressing that sort of discussion and that kind of reporting. So anyways, we are getting more and more. The government is not opening up the storehouse to us just yet, but it looks like they're doing one of these gradual, frog in warm water, where they just warm it a little bit at a time until you don't realize how far you've gone. But if you take a step back and you say, how was this being treated by the government and by the media 15 years ago compared to how it is now, and it's a world of difference.
Mm-hmm. So you think they're slowly ramping up to something big that they're going to admit to?
I think so. I think there is a disclosure that is forthcoming. There is rumor. This is all we have. Apparently, there was a classified meeting with a lot of people in the government after this nine-page document came out. By the way, it's 9 pages, easy read. If you want to know more about it, you can go to that document. But Discovery, the channel, last night had a big special, a 3-hour special. We haven't watched it yet, but it's on the list of things to do. But there was a classified government meeting. They say that they showed the congressman things in that meeting that just knocked their socks off.
Oh, wow.
So that's hearsay at this point. But if that's true, then that does point towards a greater disclosure, because it's more than they've shown those Congress people before.
Do you think someone will leak it?
I don't know. Every day I don't get political if I can help it, but every day that like our current whistleblowers are going through like terrible things in their lives because of what they released is just like another message to anyone who's a potential leaker that, you know, do you want to sacrifice your entire life and live in misery? Because that's what's going to happen to you if you leak. So I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to see the greater good argument of informing us all about aliens as being more important than their own well-being. And that's really the question of whether or not there will be a leaker. Anything else y'all want to add to that before we move on?
I just think it's exciting. I mean, you're right. They're admitting to a lot of stuff that they never would admit to before. And it does feel like it's, you know, they're admitting that there's stuff out there that they can't explain. That's, you know, like, it's huge. I fall on the theory that it's, I think we've talked about this before, but I think it's like probes. Alien probes is what they're seeing. That's my theory.
They seem to not be trying to make contact. Of course, if they had tried, the government would probably be hiding that from us right now. But it looks like from the evidence that we've been able to get that they are trying to avoid us, avoid contact in general. Two things I want to say. If you are interested in this topic, I advise you watch 2 movies. One of them you'd have to pay for. It's called The Phenomenon. It came out in 2020.
So good.
The other one is free. It's on Amazon Prime. It's free-ish. If you're not on Amazon Prime, it's not free. But if you're on Amazon Prime, it's called Travis. Just that word, Travis. It is the story of a man who believes he was abducted and believes he remembers parts of that abduction. And that doesn't sound that interesting because there's a lot of people with that. However, there's a lot of other people around him that can confirm parts of his story. Yeah. and that's where it gets really like, what in the world happened that day?
It's fascinating.
So, Travis, great documentary, free on Amazon Prime. All right, without further ado, what's the Attack on Titan news, Steph?
I am so excited about Attack on Titan. So the news for Attack on Titan is that a few days ago, Mappa, who does the animation this year, for the final season anyway, they took over. They had a big 10th anniversary celebration. All the voice actors came and they talked and said kind of their goodbyes to everybody, and we learned a little bit. We got a teaser photo for the new season. It's on. We have an article up right now on our website that has the teaser photo, and we kind of analyze it and we talk about what it might mean. But they released a teaser photo that gives a little more information, but it's similar to a teaser video for the new second half of the season that was released right when the season ended. But the thing is, if you only watched it on Funimation, Crunchyroll, or Hulu, you did not get to see the teaser video. That was released in Japan on NHK, and you can find it in our article. But though the 3 U.S. streaming services never released the teasing video, which is just interesting. But this teaser photo kind of connects to that video. It gives us a little more information. It's fascinating. It includes Aaron in the photo, so really exciting. And they also released the name of the next episode, Season 4, Episode 17, or Episode 76, depending on which service you're using, is called Condemnation. And they confirmed that it is coming back this winter. There was some confusion when they said winter 2022 in one of the translations as to whether that was soon or really long time from now. Well, they confirmed it is this winter. So that means we are probably going to see the next episode as early as December or January. I'm betting it's going to be one of those 2 months. So, we're already in July. So it's not even a year away. It's just half a year away. I am very excited.
Yeah, and let me give just a little background. This is Attack on Titan is an anime that's in season 4, and the final season, it's halfway done with its final season, and they took a big break. It is based on a manga series, which a manga is like a comic book, right? Is like a Japanese comic book. I'm probably getting all that wrong, but I'm close to the truth. Close enough.
Yeah. Close enough.
That's completed. So there are people out there who know how this story ends. And this is, so far the show has been very close to the story. So Stephanie and I are not among the people that know how it ends. We came up on the show. Stephanie is going back through reading it. And though she's enjoying it, she has not gotten very far. Because it's like 150 books long now. Right?
Yeah, I've got a ways to go.
So
it's really good though. Really good.
So yeah, it's an excellent series. It's one of the most popular animes of all time, and one of the most popular cartoon shows right now that exists. So we're checking out. You can go ahead.
I just wanted to say, and I know I've said this before on podcasts, but if you have not watched Attack on Titan, give it a try. If you like dystopian fiction, you like post-apocalyptic, because you're watching this. In my opinion, it is one of the best TV series. I'm a big fan of Battlestar Galactica, except for the last episode. Loved it. This is right up there with it. It is so good. Now you've got to go a few episodes in to really start getting into the mythology and seeing how amazing it is. So give it a chance. But it is one of the best TV shows of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, you can watch it on Hulu. You can watch it on Funimation.
Yes.
On both those things, you can watch it in English dubs or English subtitles. And there is a pro and con to both of those. So really, you can't go wrong either way. One last thing, Steph, so I know you wrote about the promotional clip that you didn't get on the English thing. So like what do I need to put in my search engine so I can get your story on that and watch the clip?
Okay. Yeah, just go to our website and search for Attack on Titan teaser. And that'll bring up both the stories about the teaser photo, but it will also bring up that teaser trailer. You'll be able to see them both.
Okay.
And actually, I put the teaser trailer in my new article about the teaser photo. So if you could even just go to the new article I wrote this week about the teaser photo, and you'll see both of them in there.
Fantastic. All right. Let me... War of the Worlds. Okay, last topic. We're not going to give Handmaid's Tale spoilers today. We're already at an hour, so we're not going to even get into that. But we are going to make a mention of War of the Worlds. War of the Worlds. Did we talk about this last week? I don't
know.
Okay,
not in
so
depth.
First of all, definitely not in depth. First of all, we have the top DirecTV package in our house, and we still don't get epics. So if you're looking like for a free way to get epics, you're probably not going to find it. At least that's how we ended up paying $6 a month to get epics through Apple's Apple TV thingy.
Yeah,
but you can do it through Amazon. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You can do it through Apple TV, through Amazon.
Epics
Apple
is where
will give you you get a 7-day free trial on Apple.
Oh, yes. So you can 7-day free trial. You can wait till the series over, binge it in 7 days, and cancel your trial.
They call that the Shawn way.
If you're watching, if you buy it and you're watching while it's airing, you'll also get the episodes on Apple before they're released on TV. So you'll be ahead of all of your friends. Or I don't know even who has access to it on TV.
Yeah.
It seems like that's pretty limited.
Yeah, spoil it for your friends. And prove that you're a bigger fan. So that's happening. Okay, so yeah, it's on Epics. We're on episode like 4 now, I think.
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
And it comes out on a weekly basis, and it's in season 2. It's War of the Worlds. I think that we're probably well past the like original War of the Worlds story. In fact, I don't even know. The show might even start post original War of the Worlds, which is which started out as like this radio show, I believe, that freaked a lot of people out. Some people freaked out and killed themselves, from what I hear, because they thought that it was a real alien invasion and it was happening. And this may sound callous, but I feel like a part of that mentality may be why the government can justify hiding huge important news like UFOs from us.
Oh, that's so interesting. I didn't even think about people's reactions to the radio show, although that many years ago shows how some people would react to an actual alien invasion, and that might be why the government's doing this slow roll kind of.
Orson Welles, I think, is the radio guy who was doing it. So, anyways, this may sound callous, but I think good riddance. And I mean that. Well, here's the thing: like, if aliens are really invading us, and your reaction isn't to protect us and protect your fellow man, but to check out entirely, like, how selfish is that? That's not okay. Like, that is. I mean, so
we've got
like,
to put ourselves in everyone's footstep, everyone's shoes. Everyone's different. I mean, I would stay.
I'm giving you space to defend.
I'm just saying, some people have a lot going on in their lives and a lot of stressors, and they just, that alien invasion might have just been the last straw. I mean, I would stay, and we're all post-apocalyptic survivors here, but some of those people, it just might have. They might have already.
They're eating our
food. It was just too
much. They are taking advantage of our whole infrastructure that humanity has built up, and they're not loyal to humanity. Like, what in the world? Come on.
Oh, we've got to be sympathetic to people.
Give back a little bit.
This has been Derek Says Something Controversial.
Yes. Derek says something controversial.
Yeah. We're doing forced conscription in the post-alien invasion landscape, and if you're not one of us, I'm just putting that out there. Just be ready, you guys. Don't make me. All right.
If you want to, as a oh, sorry, you go on.
I was just being facetious. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say a segue to forced conscription in an alien battle would be that tomorrow war. We can watch it tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
But by the time you see this podcast, it will not be tomorrow. It will.
That comes out tomorrow?
Yeah, the 2nd.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited about that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you brought it up on the podcast, because we were going to let it go. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, War of the Worlds, wrap that up. It's a good show. Check it out. It's airing right now. So support currently airing post-apocalyptic stuff. And then the Tomorrow War. I saw today the Escapist YouTube channel did a review of that movie. And I didn't watch it, but if you want a review right now, right this instant, you can go to YouTube and find that. But I'm not even going to watch that. I'm going to just watch the movie because the whole plot really appeals to me. It's got Chris Pratt, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Chris Pratt.
Get on that. What is that on? Is that on Amazon Prime?
Mm-hmm. Amazon.
Yeah.
And I mean, by the time people see this podcast, it'll be available, so they can go and just watch it.
Yeah. And, while we're on the topic of Amazon, Invincible is something that I dove into recently. It's a very adult, dark take on superheroes, and it kind of is leading up to a apocalypse of sorts. So so that might be of interest to our viewers. It's not post-apocalyptic, but
it's good.
But it's good, and it touches on some of these topics we've been talking about today, but I'm not going to specify how, because then that would be a spoiler, and I don't want to do that. You guys are awesome. I thank you all for sticking around to the end and being with us on a weekly basis. We do this every week, so just subscribe to that. Hit that subscribe button. Follow us. We're going to be bringing you every week the latest. You better finish this podcast. Go add Tomorrow War on Amazon Prime to your watch list. We want to support post-apocalyptic movies and shows and books and games and incentivize the content creators to keep making that stuff. And that means we've got to consume it. But you've got to, make your own decisions and have a good work-life balance. So, don't gorge yourself on just post-apocalyptic stuff and forget your other life responsibilities like I have done. Well, this has been a blast. You guys have a great rest of your week, and always be ready for the big one. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.